This image broke the internet in August 2024. Over 100,000 people shared it within days. And for the first time in history, artificial intelligence has attempted to show us what Jesus Christ actually looked like. But here's what most people don't realize. This wasn't some random artist's interpretation. This face was extracted from something that has baffled scientists for over a century, a 14-foot linen cloth that may have wrapped the body of Christ himself. The Shroud of Turin contains secrets that modern science is only now beginning to unlock. And what researchers discovered hidden in this ancient fabric doesn't just challenge everything we thought we knew about this relic, it challenges the laws of physics themselves. Act 1. The discovery that changed everything. May 28, 1898, Turin, Italy. An amateur photographer named Secondo Pia has just been given permission to do something no one has ever attempted before. He's going to photograph the Shroud of Turin. At this point, the shroud is already centuries old. People have venerated it as a holy relic, but to the naked eye, the image on the cloth is faint, almost impossible to make out. Just a vague, brownish stain that might resemble a human form if you squint hard enough. Pia takes his photographs and retreats to his darkroom to develop the glass plate negatives. And what happens next nearly makes him drop the plate. When he looks at the negative, he doesn't see what he expects. Instead of a reversed, ghostly image, he sees something impossible. A perfect, detailed portrait of a man's face staring back at him. Pia later wrote that he experienced a very strong emotion when he saw for the first time the holy face appear on his plate. He almost dropped the glass from shock. You see, the image on the shroud isn't a normal image. It's a photographic negative. The light and dark areas are reversed, which means that when Pia created a negative of a negative, he got a positive, a clear, lifelike portrait. But here's the problem that kept scientists awake at night. Photography wasn't invented until the 1800s. If this shroud is truly ancient, how could it possibly contain a photographic negative? There was no technology on Earth that could have created this image. At least, no technology we know of. Act 2. The impossible 3D secret. Fast forward to 1976. Sandia National Laboratories in New Mexico. Two physicists named John Jackson and Eric Jumper are about to make a discovery that will change shroud research forever. They have access to something called a VP8 image analyzer. This is a piece of military technology designed for NASA to analyze photographs from space. What it does is convert the brightness levels in an image into height information, essentially creating a 3D relief from a 2D picture. Now, when you run a normal photograph through this machine, you get garbage. The image distorts because regular photos don't contain real distance information. The brightness in a photo depends on lighting, shadows, camera angle. It has nothing to do with actual depth. But when Jackson and Jumper feed the shroud image into the VP8, something extraordinary happens. A perfect three-dimensional human face emerges from the screen. The nose, the eye sockets, the lips, the beard, everything in perfect anatomical proportion. Peter Schumacher, the inventor of the VP8 image analyzer, examined the results himself. He later stated that the results are unlike anything he had processed through the VP8 analyzer before or since. The shroud image contains encoded three-dimensional information. The intensity of the image at any point corresponds to the distance the cloth was from the body. This is impossible to fake. No painting, no photograph, no known artistic technique can create this effect. This discovery was so significant that it led to the formation of STURP, the Shroud of Turin Research Project. In October 1978, a team of over 30 American scientists traveled to Turin and spent 120 continuous hours examining the cloth with the most advanced equipment available. Affected only the topmost fibers of the cloth. Whatever created this image, it wasn't paint, it wasn't photography, it was something else entirely. The official STURP summary stated that the shroud image is that of a real human form of a scourged, crucified man. Act 3. The carbon dating controversy. But then came 1988. 3 laboratories, Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona, conducted carbon-14 dating on a sample from the shroud. Their verdict seemed definitive. The cloth dated to between 1260 and 1390 AD. Medieval. A fake. Headlines around the world declared the mystery solved. The shroud was a medieval forgery. Case closed. Except it wasn't. Almost immediately, researchers raised serious concerns. The sample was taken from a single corner of the shroud, an area known to have been repaired multiple times over the centuries. Statistical analysis of the data showed significant heterogeneity, meaning the 3 labs got inconsistent results even among themselves. Fast forward to 2024. Dr. Liberato De Caro of Italy's Institute of Crystallography has just published groundbreaking new research. Using a technique called wide-angle X-ray scattering, or WAXS, His team measured the natural aging of the cellulose fibers in the linen. Unlike carbon dating, this method measures structural degradation at the molecular level. It doesn't depend on organic material that can be contaminated. DeCaro's team compared the shroud sample to a piece of linen from the siege of Masada, which is definitively dated to between 55 and 74 AD. The results were remarkable. The shroud's cellulose showed nearly identical aging patterns to the Masada sample. According to this new research, the Shroud of Turin is approximately 2,000 years old. That places it squarely in the time of Christ. DeCaro argues that the 1988 carbon dating was flawed. The sample was likely contaminated with younger material from medieval repairs and wasn't properly cleaned before testing. His X-ray technique also revealed something else: pollen grains embedded in the linen that originate from the Middle East, not Europe. Act 4. The face revealed. For decades, researchers have attempted to reconstruct the face on the shroud. In 2010, digital artist Ray Downing used the three-dimensional data from the VP8 to create what he called the most accurate representation of Jesus ever made. That project aired on the History Channel as The Real Face of Jesus. The technology has advanced dramatically since then. In August 2024, the British newspaper Daily Express used Midjourney, an advanced artificial intelligence system, to generate a new reconstruction based on the shroud data. The AI analyzed the shroud's proportions, the 3D encoding, the wound patterns, the bloodstains, and it generated this: a man with long hair and a beard, wide, intense eyes, visible wounds on the forehead consistent with a crown of thorns, a solemn, weathered expression that seems to carry both suffering and dignity. Matthew Sanders, CEO of an AI company called Longbeard, commented on the image. He noted that while AI can extrapolate remarkable details from limited data, the output is still influenced by its training. The image draws on countless artistic depictions of Jesus that already exist in the AI's database. But here's what makes this different from previous artistic interpretations. The AI didn't just imagine a face. It worked with actual data. The three-dimensional information encoded in the shroud, the proportions, the geometry, the blood patterns that forensic scientists have confirmed match real crucifixion wounds. Dr. Petrus Soons created actual holograms from the shroud data, life-sized, three-dimensional representations that have been displayed in museums around the world, including the Museo della Sindone in Turin and St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. The blood on the shroud has been tested. It's real human blood, type AB. It contains high levels of bilirubin, which is produced when the body experiences extreme trauma. The blood was applied to the cloth before the image was formed, not after. Today, the shroud rests in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy. It's kept in a climate-controlled case behind bulletproof glass. Public viewings are rare, sometimes decades apart. But for the Jubilee year in 2025, the Catholic Church is expected to display the shroud to the public once again. So is this the real face of Jesus? The honest answer is that we don't know for certain, and perhaps that's the point. What we do know is this: the Shroud of Turin contains properties that no one can explain. A photographic negative created centuries before photography, three-dimensional information encoded into a two-dimensional surface, an image formed by a process that scientists still cannot replicate. New dating methods suggest it may be 2,000 years old. The blood is real. The wounds match crucifixion. And now, artificial intelligence has pulled from those ancient fibers a face that has been hidden for millennia. Whether you see this as a miracle, a mystery, or just a fascinating scientific puzzle, one thing is undeniable. After 2,000 years, the Shroud of Turin still has the power to make us stop, to look, to wonder, and maybe, just maybe, to see a face we've been searching for all along.